We're going to call the meeting to order. It's 5 o'clock. And I'd like to do roll call. Councillor Manzer, Councillor Tudor, Deputy Warden Matthew Ross, Councillor Angela Thurber, and myself. And staff present are our CAO and our two manager of corporate services and manager of municipal services, as well as our executive assistant, Pat Stevens. Now, having said that, what I'd like us to do is pause the guidance. Okay. And then the reading of the mission statement. To provide, promote, or facilitate municipal services that meet the community's needs while preserving, supporting, and enhancing quality of life for all. Now, approval of the agenda. First of all, is there any additions or deletions?
I move approval of the agenda as presented.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is a presentation to our former warden, Jimmy McAlpine. Now, Jimmy, what I'd like to say is, and maybe you'd like to stand up at the podium. What I'd like to say, 20 years service with us is a long time, and it's been greatly appreciated. You brought with us your experience and your thoughts of how things should work, and you ended up becoming our president of the then UNSM. You have been with various committees. You served well. You were on the provincial or regional library board. You were with the PBSC. You were chair. I thought, and I'm going to say this, 2 terms as chair.
Yeah.
Okay, which was 8 years. So when we look at that and all the service that you have brought, you're an inspiration to others. I will tell you, you've been greatly respected by all. People knew you. You were good with all 3 governments. You tried not to pick sides, though some people would say you were one or the other. And always rumors about Jimmy, always rumors.
Rumors.
So not saying too much. I also want to say how much you gave to this council. You went beyond and above what you had to do. And it was greatly appreciated by myself and the others. You have seen councillors come and councillors go. And through it all, we have always tried to be a forward-thinking councillor. And the last 4 years under your direction, I think we did great. You have been deputy for a number of years. Again, you were always a great support. For me, personally, I was so happy to work with you all these years. And I think that says a lot, because sometimes we have councillors that we're not always so happy to work with for a number of years. And I'm going to say something a little personal now. When you first were coming on council and I heard who you were, and I'd already worked with your uncle, I thought, what is this going to be? And you know what? You were fantastic. And I have to say that my worries were certainly not needed. And I know that our former warden, Jim Thurber, always felt that you were a great person, counselor to be on this council. I wish that I could go over everything, because I actually, this past week I was in Shelburne, I can't remember where I was. And so I was going back through some stuff, and I was thinking, should I bring this up? Should I bring it? No, Linda, he doesn't want to sit here for an hour listening to your mouth off. But I do want to say how much we appreciate everything you have done. And I hope that you have success in whatever you do, whether it's provincial, federal, or just stay at home and enjoy life as a business person. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much for the kind words.
Now, what I'd like to do next is to give you a gift, and then I'd like you to be able to have a few words.
Okay, thank you.
Now, this is from all of us. The first is the direction of Digby, and it says, Jimmy McAlpine, in recognition of 20 years of dedicated service to the Municipality of Digby, 2000 to 2020.
Maybe come a little further away from that wire so it's not hanging out.
Sorry. Good thing people are paying attention.
Okay.
Just go in there, she wants to get a picture.
Yep.
You've been there.
And he also has this for you.
Easter eggs.
What kind of Easter eggs you got here? I personally like chocolate.
I know. No, you like licorice.
Yeah.
Black licorice. Okay.
Yes.
I really appreciate the gift. It was an honor to serve on this council for 20 years. I remember coming into it. It was yourself and Helen and Jim and Roberta. And they talk about diversity in Nova Scotia. Well, we had diversity 20 years ago. So we're ahead of the game. So, and then after that, I felt that throughout the years, the different councils, I still feel we had good quality on the council. But no, being on council was a privilege to serve the community, and it also gave me a lot of chances to have other opportunities in Nova Scotia, which you referred to. I really enjoyed my time with the UNSM. I was there for 6 years on there and served as president. Went on PVSC. I served 10 years with PVSC. I was the chairman twice. I was the chairman before I became the president of UNSM, and then when I stepped away, when I came back, I went back on as chair. For the library boards, I had a passion for libraries. I served on that for 16 years, and to me personally, the libraries are essential for people to learn. It's a lot of times it's the only place where someone can get internet service. So, truthfully. And so when I worked with the province to try to get more funding, I was really happy that we were able to do that. But it's out of respect and working together and looking at different people's viewpoints and respecting other people's viewpoints that you can do that. Not just on libraries, but on anything we do. So I know that there's always been demands on the province to have more money, but the person also has to understand what their responsibilities are. Like over 40% of the funding the province takes in has to go to healthcare, and that's growing every year. But there's also been a lot of demands on municipalities to take on more responsibilities from the federal government, provincial government, and municipalities can't afford to do that. So, at this level, you work a fine line as to what you can do, and a lot of times the best thing to do is to advocate for the people, and put the responsibility back on the people that's responsible for the funding. Like right now, affordable health care. I know it's really important, and I think with the Barton School, it's going to go a long way in this area to at least start to improve the situation here. And I know that you're doing really well with internet right now, and I like the model that we took here at this council to address that concern, because I know other municipalities have invested a lot more money, and I've always felt that municipalities should be partners in providing internet service, not necessarily be the sole provider. And the model that we're using, I think, with Bell has been working well. But on that note, get away from the different items, but it's been a real pleasure working with you all on council. I mean, Angela, we work together, so you're not new. You're just recycled. So, and no, it's been a pleasure. And it has been nice to step back from it right now. I will say the emails that I get in the run of the day are minimal. And, I don't have to worry about if I have my phone on all the time because I don't hardly ever get a phone call. So that's kind of nice. So I don't have that pressure anymore. So not to say I may not have it again in the future. But, we'll see. Anyway, thanks a lot.
Now,
Appreciate it.
at this time, I would like George to say goodbye to you and whatever you want.
Yes,
to
Jimmy,
say.
it was a pleasure working with you for the 8 years I was here, my 8 years. It was great having you on council. Great to work with us.
Yeah, I enjoyed working with you too, George, and actually it was longer than 8 years because I worked with you when you were a citizen rep on Dark before you got
was
the council.
not counting those years. Not counting those years.
No.
But yeah, so and good luck in the future, whatever you decide to do.
Thank you.
David.
There's never any consideration or thought that you would ever embarrass the municipality, which is, sadly, I can't see the same thing for myself. But for you, it was very firm in good leadership, and I very much like that we never had to worry at all. And you were the calmness to my manic. So thank you very much, and I'm sure that we won't see the last of you for public service. I hope not.
Thank you.
Angela.
I'd just like to wish you well, whatever you pursue in the future, and thank you for being, I know a couple different times I've had to reach out to you, and it's been, it's a good help to have you to talk to, and so I thank you as a former councillor and also as a constituent.
Thank you.
Matthew.
Well, I see you every Monday.
That's right.
We're side by side at the store there. But,
We chat a lot.
Yeah. No, it was great working with you, and I appreciate it. I mean, I always come into your store when you were in Marshalltown, and one day I walked in and asked you about running for council, and you sat me down, we had a nice chat, and I made that decision, and here we are, and I really appreciate all the talks, and yeah, you'll be missed on council, but good luck in the future.
For sure.
And I'll see you next Monday. Or maybe tomorrow.
You'll see me tomorrow.
No, I have nothing to say because I don't want to embarrass myself.
Okay. Coralie.
Well, Jimmy, I think we both came on about the same time. So you referenced all the councillors that you work with, and that's my memories from those earlier days. But no matter what we had for council or over the past 20 years, I always thought that everybody got along pretty good, and I certainly looked up to your wisdom and leadership and good advice, I guess. So I did enjoy working with you, and we certainly do miss you, but I know we will definitely probably see you around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I hear you just had your 20 years anniversary
Yes,
too.
I did.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a good
Lots of
accomplishment.
changes over the past, and like Linda said, when you sit back and reflect, yeah, things have changed, and there's lots of good memories. So, yeah.
Tyler.
Yeah, me personally, I had a lot of respect for you as a councillor. I thought you represented a steady hand as a councillor. I certainly appreciated your calm demeanor, the way you approached all situations, never too high, never too low. I thought you did a very good job as a warden in that sense, and I very much enjoyed our time together. I wish it was longer.
Thank you.
And last but not least, I left the CEO for last.
Thanks. Yeah, I think most of us have been caught slightly by surprise by this and didn't have remarks prepared.
No, I know.
I didn't know. I wanted to come from your heart.
Yes. No, I really enjoyed our, I think, just about 7 years, Jimmy, together. The first as councillor, I feel like I'm repeating now, but a very balanced approach to all the issues that council has faced over that time, and really enjoyed your time as warden. Certainly the last year with COVID, yeah, it would have been hard to get through this. So I appreciate all your support.
Thank you very much. And, I can still remember being involved with the hiring process for yourself and Tyler, both of you. And I want to say that I feel that this council made a very good choice for both of you.
Oh, yeah.
This council is
Yes, also thank you for that.
Really, though, I think the municipality is in really good hands. We've got a young staff, young, experienced staff, And I think council's got an easy way of going forward with the people they have to help them. So, anyway, thanks a lot. I appreciate this.
They have been doing great while you've been gone since you've left the staff. Yes, very good.
Okay. We are going to have a little break and have some tea and coffee, some little treats, and sit around and talk with Jimmy and Trudy, and then we'll come back to council. Okay? Meeting is now back in order. So now we will go on. The next is the minutes of February 22nd, 2021. Is there any errors or omissions?
I have a motion to approve the minutes of February 22nd.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Carry-minded, motion carried. The unfinished, first, has anyone got unfinished business on February 22nd besides what's on the agenda?
No.
Okay. What there is the St. Mary's Bay Protector letter.
I read over that. I wasn't too sure what they wanted us to do it from the content of the letter.
They want to do all the investigation and find out all about all that stuff going on. That's what they wanted. They wanted to do all the digging and all that.
I will make this comment. What we decide to do is council's decision, but those questions that they asked were answered in the previous letter. What does council want to do?
I was thinking we would send the letter to the Department of Environment, maybe, or who would be the right one to send something? The Aquaculture Review Board?
They would have already done that.
Hmm.
Since it's already passed, I would just say, we've gone over your letter, thank you, but it's already been.
But all the questions have been answered.
It's already been done, it's answered by.
We also don't have the.
We can forward this letter.
We don't have the institutional capability to answer those
Or we would
letters.
recommend that you forward this letter to Environment and Agriculture.
I would suggest.
So,
Not from us,
my
but they
question
can-
is, do you want to make a motion? Do you want to?
I move that we don't have to explain to them. I don't need a motion for this, but that we don't have the institutional capacity to do something like this. We can't investigate this like they want us to.
So what you're asking us to do is to write a generic reply to the letter.
Yep.
And maybe include that we do not have that part.
No, I think, is that what I'm hearing?
Mhm.
Is there a seconder to that motion?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carries. The next is the CAO report, the meeting reminders. I do want to remind you, it has changed to Tuesday.
Yep.
So April the 6th is bylaw and policy. Remember, that's probably a long meeting, so.
It will.
Well, I'm just giving them hope. So be prepared to be here till at least 8 o'clock or so.
Can't wait.
April the 13th is committee of the whole. April the 20th, it's the audit committee. April the 27th is council. May 4th is the first draft of the budget for the bylaw and policy. And May the 11th is committee of the whole. Any questions or concerns with any of those dates?
I like that we're all going at 5 o'clock, by the way. I really like that change.
Okay. Now next is action items from the previous minutes, or from the previous meetings. As you saw, it's been a busy actual to date of what was happening. Have you got any questions for the CAO on any of those action items? No one? Oh. All right. Then there was the update on the capital projects for 21, 22. At this point, I am going to say there's a possibility we are going to get double gas tax money for this coming year.
Double gas tax money?
Like we
Are
did
we going to
last
be able to
year.
use any of that money for something like... Well,
It's capital, but if we need it.
All right. Just the cellular service thing keeps popping in my head that Matthew mentioned before.
The the gas tax, they give us specific things that we're allowed to spend the money on.
But I thought that there was a chance for
It
communication.
has not come through yet.
Okay.
And
I'm hoping for the future.
yeah, and that's the way we should. But remember, this is only for this year.
Yeah.
I was sort of hoping it would be continued.
I just really like Matt's suggestion on that. It was, I thought it was a great idea.
Any questions on any of the capital expenses that we have spent so far?
Any talk about, one quick thing, is they're talking about electrification of the buses and the federal government right after we
Okay.
bought, yeah.
There was a meeting, it's either today or tomorrow. Kings County apparently wants to buy 2 electric buses. I know they're going to have a meeting with the acting manager.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's a lot of questions and concerns because you got to make sure there's someone. Oh, I'm not going to go into that until they've had their meeting.
Interesting.
It is, and I can see electric possibly working like a small area. It's not going to work
For us.
coming from Weymouth. Oh, well, it would, as long as you'd like to plug in every so often, like every time you made that round trip. If you made the round trip.
They work better for lots of stops and starts because the energy
Well, there's
capture
small
systems.
areas.
Yeah.
But you don't have the time to plug it in between trips, right?
No.
So it's gotta go from morning till night.
But again, improvements will probably be made in the future. The next was the approval of the February payables in the amount of $396,991.49. Could I have approval of those February payables?
I motion to approve the February payables of $396,991. $396,991.49.
Second thought.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next is the income and expense report. And that came to us,
Jumped out.
wasn't that your email to us, Coralie?
I gave you the detailed one, but the summary's in the package.
Yeah. But but I meant they had the opportunity to, no offense, even if I find that sometimes a little tedious, I still go through it.
Understood.
A lot of numbers.
So is there any questions? Yes,
I just had a couple questions,
go right ahead.
because I don't understand them all yet, but I just wondered what the amount was of wind turbine. There was a significant difference there, and I didn't know from
In the
budget,
revenue or the expense?
revenue, sorry.
So this time of year, so that is a catch-up game. So winter is our biggest wind generating months. So when we get our last updates, generally that one catches up. We'll see by the time we do the audit committee and we do the variance to year end, we'll know more accurately then. So we've got at least 1 month left on this, and it's definitely skewed. It's not even throughout the 12 months of the year what the windmills generate for revenue. So this is what happens as we move
Okay.
towards the end of the year and the winter.
And then I just had a couple of things, the transfer to Western Regional Housing, is that something that happens in March, like?
Yes, we get the
And-
amount from them at that point. That's
Okay.
roughly what we budget, and then they give us a more accurate number in March.
Okay, and then the town of Digby Library is the same?
Yes.
And rural internet, I can't remember now what it was, but it had 45K down, what was rural internet? Can't remember now, what it was.
Likely that was some of the funding for projects. So Bell, we are learning, it's an ongoing learning curve with our partner on this. They so far have only been invoicing when they have fully completed projects. So we just aren't seeing invoicing from them as rapidly as we thought we might when we did last year's budget.
Okay. And that's all I had.
Good question.
Good questions.
No one else? So would someone like to accept the income and expense report
I move that we accept the income and expense report as presented for February.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, Motion carried. The next is the standing committees, bylaw and policy recommendation. The first is expanded service hours and a 4-day week policy. So would someone...
Can I make that motion?
You sure can.
I'd like to move to approve the expanded service hours and the 4-day work week policy.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second it.
Any discussion? This was discussed at the bylaw policy, and what is happening, our staff will be moving to a 4-day work week, but with expanding hours, that our service will be open from 8 to 5, Monday to Friday. So there will be an extra hour for the public to be able to come in.
Just like to say, it's a very modern idea, and I'm really proud of everybody for us giving this a try.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next, we want to move to change the council meetings, committee of the whole meetings, and the bylaw and policy meetings from Mondays to Tuesdays for the duration of the 9-month pilot program.
So moved.
Any seconder?
I'll second it.
And again, because it's sort of impossible to now meet on Monday when the main staff is Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. So in doing that again, we want to make sure our staff is able to have everything ready for us and we are prepared.
Excellent.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next, we want to approve the increase of an additional $1,000 to the criteria for qualifying for the 21-22 low income tax exemption, as well as an increase of an additional $25 per category for exemption. And again, we know that things are moving up a little bit, and it's been a hard year, and we are trying to do the best we can for our residents.
Excellent. So moved.
And is there a seconder?
Seconded.
Any discussion, questions?
This makes a serious difference for the people who are. Imagine if you make $8,000 a year if you're on welfare, which is close to $600 a month. This $600 is all the difference between people being able to eat and the difference between being able to afford glasses, the heat, the list goes on. Like, it doesn't seem like much, but when you're that poor, this makes a big difference. And also, it does a wonderful job in keeping us from foreclosing on the homes of the vulnerable.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is to approve the IT contract that was presented to us at the bylaw and policy.
Excuse me.
I move to approve the IT contract as presented to it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Letter to be sent to the Department of Justice requesting a meeting re RCMP.
I motion that a letter be sent to the Department of Justice requesting a meeting regarding the RCMP.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Contrary minded?
Might that get done in the next 6 months, or?
Excuse me.
No.
We have a new minister. Maybe all the way
Could be
back
more
to the
than 6 months in, by the time he gets around to
And
stuff.
then if there's an election and changes, this has been an ongoing process for a few years, and we need to put it to bed.
So a year ago, when we decided to cut back a member, that hasn't taken effect or anything, right?
Nope.
Okay.
All right. All in favor? Okay, sorry. Now, next is we're going to accept the new salary scales for the building inspector, assistant building inspector, trail coordinator, and tax administrator as presented at the bylaw and policy.
So moved.
Second it.
Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next, to approve the staff salary for the 21-22 is presented with a 0.3 cost of living increase applied.
I motion to approve the staff salaries for 2021-22 as presented with 0.3% cost of living increase applied.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
Any concerns or questions?
in recognition of their tremendous work under COVID. That's what we said first.
No, this is just the cost of living.
Oh, that's the second one. Oops.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. I'm sorry, George.
On the previous one, for the new salary scales, are we gonna do is there other groups that?
Next year.
Next week?
Next year.
Next year,
We
okay.
only do so many
Okay.
every year.
Okay.
Next is to provide an actual 2% increase to all staff salaries as a show of appreciation for the challenging year they have had in providing services during the COVID-19 pandemic.
So
Is there a mover?
Yes.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
Is there any comments?
What I said last time.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next,
I'll motion to approve $20,017 funding for wage check.
Seconded.
and any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Next is the tax bill increase rate. Move to reinstate the pre-COVID-19 interest rate on overdue tax bills to 15% from 10%, effective annually April 1st, 2021.
I motion to reinstate the pre-COVID-19 interest rate on overdue tax bills to 15% from 10% annually, effective April 1st, 2021.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any comments, discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Myself. Please record. Number 9, from the bylaw and policy again. Move to have administrative staff investigate if a program can be set up in the town suite financial system with a flexible interest rate for those on payment plans for their taxes owed. Is there a mover?
I'll move.
George and David, you're seconding it?
I'll second it, yeah.
Any discussion or questions?
Is this to make it a little easier for the people? Okay. Yeah.
Yes, it
It's
is.
a good motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. Again, from the bylaw and policy for renaming
I
our
motion
airport.
to rename the Digby Annapolis Regional Airport to the Digby Municipal Airport and to accept all financial costs of the name change.
Is there a seconder?
I'll second that.
And the reason we are doing this is because we are not acting as a regional airport. We are just a Digby Municipal Airport and have been for the last few years. So we needed the name to go back to reflect its accuracy. So, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next, it's moved to keep the contract with Iris Communications for another 3 months and continue with the 3-month payment agreement.
I motion to keep the contract with Iris Communications for another 3 months and continue with the 3-month payment agreement.
I'll second that.
Okay? And this is to deal with the region. We are all working this together.
Is this a Ren thing?
No, this is to look at.
Oh, yes, I know what it
communications
is. Yeah,
region.
sorry. Yeah.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next.
I motion to send letters on behalf of the Clean Ocean Action Committee regarding the renewal of the moratorium. Thank you. On oil and gas exploration on Georges Bank to Emily Lutz, President of Nova Scotia Federation of Municipalities, the Honorable Chuck Porter, Minister of Nova Scotia Energy and Mines, and the Honorable Seamus O'Regan, Minister of the Department of Natural Resources, with our MLA, Gordon Wilson, copied on the letters.
The only thing I would like to remove is the name Emily Lutz. She has now gone on a leave of absence, so I just think we should put to the President of the Nova Scotia Federation. Is that okay with everyone?
Yep.
Okay. Is there a seconder to that?
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next,
A motion to approve $3,040 from the 2020-2021 budget to cover the cost of the phone for the Digby Municipal Fire Services.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? And again, this is so that all the fire departments have access to phone. It's a great thing for them all. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carries. The next is our business items. The EPR letter to minister.
What's EPR from, Mike? I'm sorry.
That is for when we want less packaging done.
Oh, extended.
Extended producer's responsibility.
Product liability, that's it.
No.
Responsibility.
Extended producer's responsibility.
There we go.
And what has been asked is that we send a letter to the minister as well, stating that we would like to see this happen, because we are paying for it whether it happens or not.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the whole province is paying for it.
I've been reading more about it lately, actually, recently. It's been in the news a fair bit, actually, quite fortuitously, considering us sending this letter.
And this would be a letter to the Minister of Environment.
They were discussing it during the handover, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
When the EPR sort of popped up. Oh, Halifax is making a move on it, so this letter will hopefully push it a little more.
Good.
So, is there a mover?
I'll move that.
Is there a seconder?
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next is the bus route. The town has asked us to look at a discussion. He felt it should first start with the 2 CAOs, and that's great, but I feel before we can even look at King's Transit that we have to then meet as council after the CAOs have met. And then from that discussion, we will have our own meeting and we'll decide because there's a lot of things. There's the cost.
Yeah.
And again, even if we think it's a good idea and they come down and there's they can wait to work the schedule. Because
it's not like we're going to trade off Weymouth for downtown Digby or anything like that.
Oh, we can't trade off anything in municipality.
Exactly.
It's only if it can be worked in, but again, I think we need to be open-minded and we need to listen.
Yep.
So, how does everyone feel?
Yeah, go ahead, for sure.
So we are going to ask our 2 CAOs, the town and ours, to meet, and then we will set up a joint meeting to discuss the issues, because, as I said, I'm getting different times going through town myself, trying to put it in. And they suggested maybe we only do it twice a day. I'm just going to let you know, I did go and ask Rick, can we only do something 2 times out of a schedule? And he said, no.
I can't see that.
URB says it's there, it's either there or it isn't. It's not a discussion that we can do this today and we can do this tomorrow or in the afternoon. Just so everyone knows that. And no, I did not discuss anything about going through town. I just asked him if it could be.
Yeah.
And
UARB has rush hour though, for the buses in Halifax.
But it's not changing the schedule.
Okay.
What they're doing is, because of rush hour, they have put in bus lanes, and they're accepting that they can be running behind. But they're not changing the schedule where we can't say you can go through town this way and then go through town that way, and we'll skip this one and do the next one.
Too complicated.
It'd be the same all the time.
Okay, so I just think we just need direction. We don't need a motion. The next is the surplus transfer. We need a motion and there's 3 motions. Each one will be dealt with one at a time.
I motion to transfer remaining COVID-19 safe restart funding in the amount of $198,058 to the operating reserve until such time as the province releases guidelines as to how these funds can be spent.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
And what's happening, because the province hasn't told us exactly what we're still allowed to spend or not, or that they could ask for it back, we need to put it somewheres until we know what we can do. So, any other questions or anything?
Are we allowed to put it in a GIC? Well, also,
No.
the interest rate's so low. No point.
It has to go where it's going.
Okay.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded? Motion carried. The next, we want to move $435,130 to the capital reserve, which represents specific accounts that were unspent due to the effects of COVID-19.
I'll make a motion, we transfer $435,130 to the capital reserve, which represents specific accounts that were unspent due to the effects of COVID-19.
And that means there were certain things that were going to take place that we couldn't, so we'll put it back, and then when we can bring it back again. Again, it's called housekeeping, tidy up.
Is there any chance the government might want some of this back?
Not that.
Not that.
No, that's ours.
Okay.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next, we want to be able to transfer $63,750 to the operating reserve, which represents specific projects that were delayed due to COVID-19.
So moved.
Is there a seconder?
Second it.
And again, this will probably be brought back, but for these projects, but again, it's housekeeping. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. The next was a letter from Cook's Aquaculture, and this is on Shelburne farm site. They are increasing their site because of the new rules. The moorings were at one time allowed outside, now they have to be in. We can't make it smaller, so you've got to enlarge. And what they're asking of us, if we would write a letter of support for the Shelburne location, known as Shelburne Harbor.
Why are they asking us and not Shelburne?
Shelburne, oh yeah, Shelburne's been asked, the same as Shelburne wrote one for the plant down here.
I'd be a little uncomfortable with for speaking for the people of Shelburne.
We're not speaking for Shelburne. We're speaking that if we think that the increase and giving them jobs in Shelburne, is that a good economic thing for the people? Support for the economic, then that's what the letter would be.
Yeah, I motion to write a letter to Cooks.
No, in support of, to the province of Department of Fisheries and Aquaculture.
I motion that.
Is there a seconder?
Seconded.
Okay, further discussion? David, we know, anybody else?
I'm going to vote no because I think the municipality had already voted they were not going to support open pen farming.
No, we did not.
That was for the St. Mary's Bay. It was sort of a narrow.
That was to increase open pen farming, right?
Right.
Okay.
That wasn't to.
And that was St. Mary's Bay
That
only.
was St. Mary's Bay.
Yeah.
But you still have the right to say no.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yes.
this is not.
No.
It's a democracy. Okay, all in favor?
Nay.
Aye.
Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion is carried, 3-2. The next is the NSFM about the missing letter. And the letter is telling us, of course, of increases. And for some reason, it did not get passed out to all the municipalities.
I'd hate to
So
be that
it was
person.
lost in the shuffle. So they're sending us an apology letter.
I hope they made the person.
Reject it all, I did.
I hope they made the person
That's-
that forgot
That's
right.
not the province's problem, that they didn't pass it on.
No, that's their problem.
And
I think one of the things that NSFM, this has made them realize, I think they've opened up discussions. So one of the notification processes that is currently okay is that the province notifies NSFM, and it's on NSFM to notify all the units. So I think NSFM has opened discussions following this incident, trying to get that clause perhaps removed and have the government have to notify all of us directly too. Sometimes the government does notify municipalities directly. This last year was unfortunate.
They should just do it always. That
That's
never
it.
a problem.
Right.
And I think it would be a lot easier than we all know.
Yeah.
You can't blame something.
Yeah, there's
you
too
don't know.
many chances for something to go wrong. And something went wrong, just like you know.
So yeah, I think the only other thing I would add is I think with a new minister, they're trying to obtain clarity for us on what was being referenced in this letter, what were the expected changes to help clarify, are they coming, right? Sometimes these letters come and there's not much change that follows them a year later.
Yeah.
Some there is
Just
a bit
big,
more,
yeah.
right? So they are trying to get that clarity right now.
Next, there is no general information items, so we'll go on to the advisory committee minutes reports. The first is the Heritage Advisory Committee. Jane Murphy-Layton has passed away, who was a...
Oh, really?
Mhm.
Oh.
She's only 90-something.
Geez, she's that old?
92 or something.
who worked with her husband, and they did a lot of work in the Digby County. What the committee has asked is there a donation can be made in her name on behalf of municipality to Digby Library. Did I read that correctly? Excuse me.
Do you need a motion for that?
Mhm.
I so move.
Do we have to set up the amount too, don't we?
$200?
So how do people feel? What kind of amount would you like to put in their name to go to the Digby Library?
We don't have a policy for this sort of thing?
Not
What a
really.
community. What would-
Like
I
a
would
couple
think-
$100?
I was thinking $200.
$200, yeah, 200. I move $200.
Okay. Is there a seconder?
Second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary minded, motion carried. I didn't see any other requests in that. Anyone else? The joint police advisory minutes from January. There has been a few concerns that were brought forward, and I believe you got the report. One thing that's been happening in the municipality is people going around smashing mailboxes.
Mm.
And I was told, this is what was told to me, they were called, it's called,
Mailbox baseball.
Thank you.
Mailbox baseball.
And I think it was pretty awful.
Something like that down in my area.
So it has happened in a lot of municipality and areas, and I don't see what anyone would get. There's only a very few mailboxes. People are allowed. A lot of those were elderly people that then had to go out and get a new mailbox and hire somebody.
It's expensive.
Yes, and especially if you don't have enough income.
Lack of activities to do.
Yeah.
Hey,
Stand by
I'll
me. It's where mailbox
If
baseball comes
anyone
from.
wants any activities, I think the municipality can say, look, guys, we'll hook you up and you can start picking up litter.
That's right.
You can do this and you can do that.
That would be.
Like I said,
that would be
I would give them work in a minute.
They get the old boxing gloves and loan and feel in there.
I could get them to do laps in the back. And that will help trample down the grass. Any questions on the joint police advisory minutes? Okay, the next is the planning advisory minutes of February. Any questions or concerns? Remember, we have been mandated from the province that we have to have a municipality-wide planning. This is not a discussion, this has to be done. Will we be working with the public? Of course we're going to be working with the public, but it has to be done.
We got a lot done last week, didn't we, boys?
Okay, The next is there's no other council committees that were listed, so we go to the joint intermunicipal committee minutes, reports, and the first is dark, February minutes, and the recreation director, facility manager, and active living manager, fire reports. Is there any questions or concern? Okay. King's Transit Authority financial forecast to March 31. There has been a little amendment that I sent on today. Not a lot of difference, but there is a few things.
When do they plan to hire a manager?
They're in place now trying. It's going through Gerald Walsh and Associates.
What, there must be like application deadlines and hiring, like interview dates or anything? I
am not privy to that. I know what's going on. And they are, like the other night at the meeting, they asked us to make a motion to accept our own reports that we were taking back to our councils. We're not allowed to do that. We can't make motions. We can't vote on motions. And the chair apologized. But so, yeah, I'm hoping. I will tell you, the current manager wants to be gone by golf season. Okay? Now, he said he will stay if it takes longer. But that, when he got hired in September, that was the deal. He wanted to be gone by golfing season.
Hey, at least he was open and honest about it. I can't complain about that, I guess.
There should be enough time to hire somebody, though, from September through till spring.
They didn't want to do anything until the new council was in, and let the new council, who would then board meetings, and their CAOs, help.
You gotta extend it as much as humanly possible.
Oh, no, I'm not saying that.
No, I mean,
I will say the Corps has a surplus this year.
I just think they just started advertising, I think, last week.
Oh my.
So that they just started the process.
That's what I'm saying.
Oh, sorry, yeah, this is just beginning the process now.
No, but if they've advertised, is there an application deadline, like you gotta be in by?
It's probably a couple of months, I would think.
Wow.
Okay.
Because what will happen, the applications will come in, and then Gerald Welch and his associates go through it, they weed it down, and they take it to the committee. This is their suggestions on who you look at. Then there has to be
Interviews,
and then people have to leave jobs to go to jobs, and most people have to, if they're leaving as a manager from somewhere else, they have to usually give at least a month.
Yeah.
And again, most people that are thinking about leaving don't usually go to their boss and say, I'm looking at finding a new job. They usually wait until they get one. I don't know why.
Until they get hired, yeah.
Now, the next was waste check January 21st minutes, March meeting notes, and January waste check connections. Was there any questions or concerns? The MOVITS awards, we actually went back, and these ones were champions before, and they were redone. NSCC Burbage Campus, our staff went and looked at these people to see if they were still doing the practices they were supposed to. I actually had the opportunity to talk to the man from NSCC Shelburne, who at that time was in Burbage, which is Yarmouth campus, and that was his baby. And I will tell you, Shelburne, he has no problem coming to you and saying, excuse me, this is how you'd lay it out, you've done it wrong. And it is. I was so impressed. I said to him, you don't know how happy you make me. And he said it was him that received the award with group The Meadows, which is the nursing home down there, which is also known as Yarmouth Tidal View is their official name.
Tide View and a Tidal View.
Tidal View, and they go because of where it was.
A little confusing.
They used to look. Well, they were first.
Oh, were they? Oh.
Yeah, I think if I remember it. They looked over the water. Mm-hmm. And now they're moved and they're called the Meadows, because they're sort of in a meadow. And then the last was Sisaboo Investments from Weymouth. And again, so we were very happy that this has happened and a video has been done, and as well as many other things. But I did want to hit out about the 2021 MOVIS Awards. The other thing we have been asked to do, Divert Nova Scotia does bursaries or scholarships.
Mm-hmm.
And anyone who's interested and looking towards environment or that type of thing, there's a $2,000 scholarship or bursary
Offered by Waste Check.
offered by Divert Nova Scotia,
Oh, Divert.
and it's for the high school students, grade 12, and they get darn few people applying.
Really?
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Send me the information and I'll get somebody to apply for it this year.
I think it's in this one. If it isn't, I'll read it, but if not, I'll send you this.
Yes. Was it the Mobius Award? Was that
No, it's under the education update. Just a minute. No, that's the worms. Sorry.
All right, Google.
I will send it to you.
Yeah, I send kids after scholarships all over the time, all the time. Does it have to be grade 12? Could it be someone in their 20s going back to school?
I will check, but I know it's for someone going into secondary education.
Okay.
So it, to me, I can't understand. I would be grabbing at anything I could get money for, but.
There's so many of these, and there's so few people that know about them. They're hard to discover. Like all the time, I'm finding, because I do this a lot with local high school kids, you'll have like somebody's will give $500, and nobody's ever claimed it. You know, that sort of stuff.
We have received the Western Counties Regional Library newsletter and the December 2020 minutes. I will tell you, they have allowed in Digby, they've done at least 3 paint nights with only 6 people, of course, allowed to be there, 6 feet apart, mask on. But I've been to 2 of them myself. Find them very relaxing. The head librarian does an excellent job. Of course, because of COVID, there's a lot of rules in. I will tell you, at a couple of meetings, people were saying, when is the Weymouth room going to open up? That's owned by the municipality. When? Of course, I'm in the room, and I said, because until COVID is opened, even it's a municipality entity, we cannot just let people go in. We have to stick to the rules.
It is open now. They're having community things in the community room.
Are they now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they may be similar to Digby, socially distanced,
But that's usually for the library stuff.
There may be a library program that's going on there, but
that's
they have opened up to do stuff in the
Yeah, but they're not allowing.
community groups.
Right.
No.
That's what I'm talking about. Oh no, the whole thing is. But I'm just saying. And the library, which is there at Digby, it's really, really nice. If anyone hasn't been in, they should go in and look. And that does remind me, can you check when we're going to have a Digby library meeting? Because that should be sooner than later. Now,
other thing about the library, they mentioned on our Zoom meeting last week, they're doing in budget process the same as everybody else, and they were hoping that the municipalities would commit to the new funding levels. The government came out last year with new funding levels, but by the time they sent it to the municipalities said we didn't have enough time, give us a year, so they let the municipalities use the old formula or the old rate.
I thought
Maybe we didn't, but you were allowed to anyway.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about
But I thought we ourselves did the.
Maybe we did. I'm not sure. I'm just saying that
the sort of thing Jimmy
we're
was
given
dealing
the
with.
option of going with the year before because you didn't have enough
But-
lead time. So
But
now
But I think with Jimmy as the chair, I think we did.
We can look at it.
But.
they're asking that we use the new formula this year to provide increase in salaries and stuff to their employees that need them and so on. So, okay.
Okay.
So I wasn't sure if we had used the old formula.
I don't think that budget has come into us yet, Jim.
No.
And they should get it in sooner than later, because once you get everything done,
It should be coming soon, I would think.
outside boards, committees, minutes, and reports, there's the data, February meeting notes, treasurer's report, and the Digby Lights campaign. Any questions? The next was the Digby Harbor Port Association November 2020 minutes. Any comments or anything, Angela? Okay. Southwest Biosphere Society March meeting minutes, report in October 2020 minutes. They are having their AGM coming up April, isn't it?
I'm not sure. I missed the meeting. I had my dates mixed up on the wrong month. So I didn't make the meeting in I think it was March 10th. I had it for April. But.
And I was at that meeting because I was then stepping down as the co-chair. I had let them know George was, and George was the rep. I was only there to step down. The next, minutes from the mayor, wardens, and CAOs. Now, what happened, did those minutes? Sure. Okay. This came in, we met with the NSFM, and Deputy Mayor Luke's did the meeting, but we got to meet with the Department of Municipal Affairs and Housing Minister and Deputy Minister. And that's the one we met with those ministers, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway, the new minister, I liked him. He actually talked to us. He seemed to listen to us. I was scared I was in the wrong meeting. Am I in the wrong meeting?
Yeah. These minutes are from the one before that, when they told us how the network was going to work before they announced they were changing it.
Okay. Sorry about that. I'll be honest, because I just saw me and the minutes, I didn't go through them because I was thinking I was at the other meeting that we had had. Oh, so this, goes over how the department is run.
And just for clarity, so all of this is undone now.
Yeah.
So
this
all of these
gone.
charts that we're seeing, the organizational charts, so when they announced that this was their final version of what the combined Department of Housing and Municipal Affairs would look like, and so now the Premier has announced that the housing is being separated, so they have begun work to undo most of what was presented to us here in December.
But the new Minister of Municipalities, I was impressed with. Sorry. I'm not going to go into big depth on that because a lot of it has changed. And like I said, then we did get to meet with the minister on the next meeting, which showed the minutes of. But I couldn't believe when he gave out his phone number. I thought, is this real? And I'm dreaming this. I know I'm dreaming this. Because no offense, in my opinion only, the previous Minister of Municipal Affairs, I don't feel would have gave me his phone number. Maybe if I was real lucky, I might get the phone number to the office. This was like a breath of fresh air. It truly was. He was.
Right on.
Yeah.
That's good news.
I thought so. Now, we are going to start with district reports. So I'm going to start with George first. I'm going to go right around.
Let me see. Mostly just some concerns in the area with roads, dirt roads, lights at the end of some of the roads we had talked about earlier, and some unsightly, not dangerous, unsightly conditions at one of the places in Weymouth. So. And that's it.
Okay.
Along with all the meetings and stuff.
David.
Yeah, busy. We'll start off with I want to congratulate the girls basketball team for the Islands. There's not even enough girls in the school to make an entire team, so the junior girls, some of the junior high had to join the team, and they've been unbeaten for the entire season, beating teams with high schools. Instead of having 8 girls eligible, have hundreds. Which is kind of cool, and tonight is their playoffs, so I'm missing the playoffs, which is everybody on the island's fully watching on YouTube. Amy Tudor's been videotaping it, and when I get home tonight, I'm going straight to the TV to watch my YouTube, see if they win. I hope they do. Food bank's been going on good. I just wanted to say thank you to the school. They gave me the most food I've ever gotten from them. It was enough to do an entire $1,500 worth of deliveries, which was a big help, and a big help from the Frost family, in particular in Westport. They brought an amazing amount of food. The Briar Island Trail Society, have been helping them with some aspects of fundraising. They're making a big move for some federal funding, and I got some supporting letters and things like that. Tiverton had a request that I assist with a local issue. I was glad to assist, and I think it went successfully. I'd also like to take a moment to say just how great a resource we have in Melissa for the dogs. I was in a situation where I desperately needed somewhere to be able to put 3 dogs. It was very important, and she, I wouldn't say she was my last hope, but she was getting close to my last hope. I had a few other no's, but she saved the day and has continued to save the day. So we were very lucky to have her as a resource for the municipality because she came through big time. I've been finding various young people for the fire departments. I'm trying to bring out a person every meeting or two just to try to, especially some of these new folks, it's a good way to encourage them to, integrate with the community. TIR, getting a lot of calls about that, as you know, when we all do when the roads thaw. Lots of a crazy amount of questions about tax sales, of which I always have to say advice, get a hold of whoever it was and who's fallen behind and make a deal with them. And don't ask me nothing. Don't know nothing. That's about it.
Thank you, David. Angela.
I sent it to Warden Gregory, 1st of March, and that was a nice evening. I've been dealing with a few phone calls and emails about different issues, and I've reached out to Warden Wilson a couple times, and actually, I've been able to reach him, and he's helped with a couple issues. I've been doing some webinars on climate change and forestry, invasive species. And I also have started one that started today with Engaged Nova Scotia concerning quality of life. It's a 6-week online series, and I found it very interesting today. And I would like to see maybe some of our social enterprises be taking advantage of this as well, because it's going to be very informative. They're going to have some sessions where it's just someone talking, like today was Danny Graham and Gamer Creed, and they did a speech, and then I think on Wednesday they're going to have like a workshop where you're actually doing work, and 6 weeks and it's free, it's online. And I've been working on with some constituents on a Cisco project and constituents in Deer River on a trail project.
A what project? The first one?
Just the Smith Cove.
Oh, okay.
Oh, thank you. Matthew.
Speaking of dogs, I got an opportunity to go over to Nathaniel Edmonds and visit the lake dog Maya. Me and Coralie Lucas went over and
famous dog.
Yeah, she's quite the little dog. She's pretty tame, enjoying life, and little skittish, getting used to being around people and stuff. Just being out, probably was out in the woods for a couple of weeks. So, but she likes her new home, so you get to check that out. Like George, I've got a bunch of calls on our dirt roads. And Glenn's grading on the stairs. Of course, right now it's too early. It's They can't even get on the roof.
Can't grade the mud.
I had a lot of trash calls the last couple of weeks. We had a major dump between Dosetville, the 4 Point Road on my end, between you and me, George. Big dump there. Somebody's been dumping on the Everett's Lake, where the Fish and Game owns the little spot you can put your boat in the water. There's been needles. There's just a lot of filthy garbage. I did talk to the RCMP. Maybe they could go out and check that. They said they would go out and check that out a little bit. But I want to thank Richie, especially with the Fish and Game. I think they sent him a little gift, because I mean, it's not up to him to come clean that up, but he's very, with the needles being there, he took control of it. We had a member of Fish and Game ready to go help him out. Richie wanted to be there to look after the needle part, but then when he got there, he took care, he cleaned everything up, and didn't need to get our group involved, which we were ready to do. But that's why they sent a little gift to him, because that was nice of him. And he was right up here with the other stuff, the other place that was trashed pretty bad. So, been dealing with that, and yeah, a lot of phone calls. Of course, we're still in COVID, so there's not a whole lot you can go out and do. So, to try to get out and see the community, stop by the local convenience store, have a cup of coffee, that kind of stuff, right? So, but yeah, that's it now.
Okay. So, for me, I did attend the Bay River Fire Department's awards, and I was so thrilled to see people get 40 years, 30 years.
Wow.
I can never get over how long they are.
Yeah, some of them. And the other thing that I thought was really nice, they were recognizing their Ladies Auxiliary. Because it stormed that night, the Ladies Auxiliary asked for another night, and they will be honoring them. And of course, the municipality has certificates for them as well. Now, then, I have been meeting with the end-of-life fishing gear. Her first name is Sonia, and I've been with Greg Thomas. She asked me as the municipality if I would help out on a project on how to break down lobster crates. So I'm videotaping, and I'm taking pictures, and I'm writing up a report with Greg. So we have met 4 times, and you think, like, what you think is going to take 10 minutes?
Yeah.
In actual fact, the first trap we did, just dealing with just the trap, and anything happening between, we shut off, right? 55 minutes.
Taking it
But
apart.
we ran out because they were grinding, and they're using a battery one. We went through 3 battery packs, hadn't got through it, so they had to go buy an electric one.
Really? So they.
Oh yeah, and
Milwaukee.
and the things that cut with the blades, they went through 4 on the first gauge.
Well, obviously that's not going to work.
Well, now because they switched over to the other one, we only used 2 blades on the second.
How's
But
that possible?
we're looking at barbecue bottoms, and we're looking at cement bottoms, and like he had 2 men working too. So all this, so we'll be, like Greg's job will be, what is this costing? Because the government is looking at how can we get traps recycled, because they're worth
Plastic
nothing.
and metal, good luck.
Yeah, they're worth nothing. And, so again, when I came in here around 3:30, I was so cold. I came in to use the bathroom, and then I went home, and I had the car up to 24. For me, I usually keep my car at 18, and I had my seat on, and I had the blower blowing on me. I standing there with rubber boots on, and I did take the coat with me. It was just freezing. I thought I was in the middle of winter. So as I said, we had 4 meetings on that. Then I did attend the Biosphere just to resign as the person, as co-chair. Then also, I have been dealing with some people with their concerns over non-roads, not having the lines painted. Some potholes that are happening, that type of thing. So that is, the other is the mailboxes. People are concerned and was checking to see if there was any recourse through the RCMP or the municipality to have things paid for, which there is not.
Oh, I'd like to have a new mailbox.
Well, I mean, you can't blame people for asking.
No.
Because, you know, it is the way it is. I also had a regional chairs meeting that I couldn't get through on thanks to the beautiful internet Wi-Fi in Shelburne. So it's not just Digby, guys.
There you go.
It is not.
I got internet.
You know,
Sorry.
so it's not
We'll
just
never
that.
end. Internet complaints.
The other only thing I am going to talk about personally is my mother is 100 on Thursday. I will not be available on Thursday.
Fun.
So if the world ends, I will be with my mom.
Opa's 100 on July 15th. 100. Jesus. Centenarians. My goodness.
There is a lot.
Wow.
It's a lot of years.
Yeah. 100 years.
100 years.
Wow.
You gonna get a certificate for the municipality?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, better.
I'm just going to get a green folder for it.
Oh, I gotta get one for Opa too now that you mentioned that.
Yeah. And I forgot.
Yeah, I think that's why my mom never
Yeah,
sold a lodge.
municipality has done that.
She's walking around
But I don't know if she'll
fine.
want my name on it.
So she's like, well, maybe.
But I'm saying that,
It's Susan to present it, just put your name on.
There, you can be warded at 100.
no.
There you go.
Even though my mom has got a clear mind and is more active, I mean, she sits with her legs crossed. The other day, the baby was up. She had this leg on top of hers. She's got her. I can't. You notice how I'm doing that? She's got her leg up. She's holding her arms around her knee, and she's talking with the baby. And I'm looking at my mom, and I'm thinking, this is a 100-year-old woman.
Yeah.
I'm only a lot younger than my mom. I don't have a problem doing that.
Gloria McCluskey, and she was 80 or whatever, and she was still in politics.
Oh, I don't plan on being. It's like the baby gate. My mother steps over the gate, baby gate. You know what happens to Linda? I get on the, I'm sitting there, both legs on either side, and either someone has to help me or we have to unhook the baby gate. It's sad. So, but like I said, I didn't want to say that because it's a little personal thing with me. Otherwise, I hope you'll have a good month. I know there's lots going on. And I want to thank everyone. Does RCAO have anything they wanted to bring forward?
No, the legislature is sitting, so there'll be lots to talk about as some things that are going on at the bylaw and policy. And as the board mentioned, wear your comfy pants. We're going to be there for a while.
Yeah.
But it's a good meeting. It's,
My gut slink.
Yep.
I'll bring that.
yeah, and then just everyone in camera.
Okay, so saying this, we are going to be moving.
Motion to do it here.
We are moving to go out of session into in camera. So I'm going to ask for a motion. And is there a seconder?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
It's a personnel issue that we are going in camera for.